The truth is funny. With Colette, Stefan will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success. Many people who shift out of limiting beliefs roar with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The truth is funny. Shift happens. Feel instant relief. Stay tuned for more fun and release struggle and suffering. And now, here's your host, Colette Stefan.
Good morning, everyone. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You are listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We're live on Facebook today. We're doing 3-card consultations with the dragons from Tales from the Vector. And I have my little co-host here. This is Pearl. She's in a very loving mood, as you can see. So she's also going to be shifting energy. If you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me at thetruthisfunny.com. And you can also connect with me at talesfromthevector.com. I'm on social media, The Truth is Funny with Colette. And also, I'll share some of the other Facebook pages as I go through. So for today's show, I will be doing 3-card readings. You can call in 1-800-930-2819 if you want to have a consultation, if you have a question, if you would just like to have an energetic shift by me and Pearl today. As you can see, she's very loving today and wants to have her say, I think, here. So I thought what I would do just before, if people want to call in, before that, I would really like to talk about learning disabilities. And because we're back at school, it's that time of year. And, I live right outside a school zone. And I could feel the pressure mounting and mounting and mounting. And I can hear the children out there talking to each other. There's high school students, because there's several schools in the area. And if I'm sitting outside and you can hear people talking about going to school, et cetera, and then getting in arguments out there and parents honking at each other because they're going to be late for work and a long lineup going to school. So I'd like to clear some of this energy around that. For many, what I'll do is I'll just go through what the general weaknesses are for people, for students in general, not just young, kindergarten and up, elementary school, but also for university students. So I made a list here of what I wanted to talk about, and I'm just looking for it now because I put it somewhere else. So now I'm just going to wing it until the next break. So the number one thing is a lot of children these days are being labeled as disabled or with learning disabilities. So the first thing we want to do is energetically tune into that and strengthen them to any label. And so quite often these days, if a child is labeled as, if a child is labeled with a certain learning disability, quite often they'll be diagnosed with several of them. So what I do is I energetically tune in and I test which one of these is the most weak, which label is the most weak. A lot of people have weaknesses to being labeled. Another thing that's coming up is for a lot of people who, when they have a problem with reading, quite often with children, that's because of the line of sight, with adults also, but it's the line of sight. And some people find it very uncomfortable to look down and to the left or look down and to the right. And these weaknesses will put a person in where it's uncomfortable to read. And so if someone is, weak to looking to the left and down, quite often it'll cause problems with them wanting to read at all. And if it's to the right, quite often it'll affect their memory of the material. So we just want to strengthen the line of sight for everyone. Another major that's coming up is being expected to sit. A lot of times people who are diagnosed with ADHD or ADD, a lot of the problem is impulses from an uncoordinated central nervous system. So the ability to really learn comes from your brain, from your central nervous system, from your from your physical intelligence, not so much from the mind. The mind will come in and weaken people quite often. So we generally very often. So a child that is forced to sit for hours in a classroom, and this will quite often they're trying to behave, so they'll relax their whole system and try to relax themselves into just having to sit there. This is true for adults too, but as we get older, we just get accustomed to being it becomes a habit, and it's kind of like almost like torture for some people. Someone like me who has a lot of energy, sitting still in meditation, that's one thing, but sitting still at a desk as a child and then being forced to sit there and then being concerned about having the right answer, that's another one that comes up. For a lot of children is the need to be right. And this is a karmic space. I'll share this card after the break, after I can put my kitty down here. If I put her down now, she'll just climb back up. She's in the mood for being on the show, so we're just gonna let her. So we want to strengthen for every child that's going to, start in school or moving into a new grade. So being graded, being tested, examined, when you think about going to the doctor and you're going to be examined, a lot of people have a weakness to the word exam, to test, to being tested, and testing others. And so we're just going to strengthen all of those for everyone. And the grade, moving from one grade to another grade. So the weaknesses for this, in general, is being graded and degraded. The other one, what's coming up right now, is also if a parent had a difficult time in a specific grade and their children are moving into that grade. Like, let's say you've had a problem with, being bullied at school, or not getting good marks, or not having the right answer. A lot of schooling has changed now, in that they don't have a tendency to use some real barbaric ways of picking teams, etc. So don't bite that, honey. So this is something that we want to clear for the parents. If the parents have a weakness to a specific grade or a specific age, it is not uncommon for their children, for them to get triggered by their children being at that age, and all the concerns and worries that came up for them at that age. So we just want to strengthen that for everyone also, is the parents out there, being strong to having your children leave the house, getting them there to school. This is important for children. A lot of times if there's a problem with organizational skills, it'll be because there's too much clutter in the home. And so, especially in the bedrooms, if your space is very cluttered and your child's room is cluttered, they're more likely to have difficulty focusing and concentrating on specific tasks. So, what's coming up now is specific subjects. So math comes up quite often, and once we start to, math was never my number one subject. Having said that, I did study with Nassim Haramein's group at the Resonance Project Foundation, like that was back in 2010. And I learned a lot about math, about the languaging of math, that math has a language all of its own. And that language, if you start to recognize that and you start to understand that language, then you're more like it becomes more like English for someone who's weak to math. So we want to strengthen that, the different languages that, and specifically when you get into like university level, we want to be strong to all the subjects and all then it's coming up the newness of it. Another thing that when it comes up to specific subjects, different people might have psychic, or it's coming up psychic, spiritual experiences of even, I'll give an example, like if someone was studying history. Oh, there we go. There, now I have my space. Yeah, if like someone's studying history and you have ancestors who maybe were in a particular part of the world in a war, forced to leave, as many people have been over the years, these things also come up. We do have to take a short break here. And when we come back, I'm going to do a 3-card layout for improving the schooling. And I'm going to cover the other subjects that come up, that come up as general weaknesses. If we can strengthen our children to have a really good, strong experience in school, they're more likely to thrive later on in life. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny. We'll be right back after this short break. Call in 1-800-930-2819 if you would like a free 3-card consultation with the dragons. We'll be right back. Marie Stefan, you're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We're doing live consultations with the 3-card consultations with the dragons. Right before the break, I was just going over some general weaknesses that many people share when it comes to the educational system. So I just wanted to finish a couple more here now that Pearl has left and got off my paper. So when there's issues around writing and penmanship, we want to test and see if the child has any weaknesses to traumas to hands, feet, arms, legs. A lot of these traumas can be passed down from ancestors, tortures, etc. So we want to strengthen for every child that they have strong coordination from the toes to the fingers, or toes to the fingers, and then we want to strengthen the wrists to the ankles, and we want to strengthen the forearms to the calves, and then the upper arm to the thighs. And we want to strengthen all these body parts so that any traumas, any issues that come up around using and coordination of limbs, we're just going to strengthen that for everyone listening now. And if you're listening later, the other thing that I did start bringing up the organizational skills and a child's ability to be able to organize themselves. This is comes up for a lot of children. One of the leading weaknesses that they have for going to school or coming home is that there is a big difference between the school environment and the home environment. So we want to strengthen them to be able to go to and from school, leaving home, coming back home. And speaking of home, I forgot to mention this painting. This is homeostasis. This is actually an original. She's one of the dragonflies. Homeostasis is your body's ability, body, mind, spirit, soul, to come to perfect alignment in a natural way. When we get out of our own way, where our body can return to homeostasis. So I thought that was a good one, because for a lot of people going into new situations, so this could be like if you have a child that is really struggling with homework and getting projects done, quite often the weakness is just that they are weak to starting, beginning, ending. And so we just want to strengthen that there is no beginning and there is no end. Also, we do have the school of life. And so that's quite an education in itself. I'm also strengthening for everyone out there, recognizing that the educational system is actually a system. Systems are geared for the group, like the group dynamic, not so much for an individual child. There's many, many ways of learning, and there's many ways that people pull information in. So I just strengthen all the sensations, the eyes and the ears, the mouth, the nose. We want to strengthen that. All of these are coordinated with the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, so that any sensitivities could be used in a strong way, getting them strong to that. People who have a tendency to really over worry, OCD type behavior, quite often we just want to strengthen for that. That comes up expectations. Expectations always create limitations. So we want to strengthen to let go of any expectations of how it is supposed to be. So I think I've covered. Yeah, I think I've covered, what I want to. It feels a lot stronger now for all of our beautiful children out there and for the parents. And just, having a really strong relationship. This is the one last one I would like to do. Strong relationship with the teacher to the child to the teacher, teachers, if there's teachers. We want to strengthen all relationships between people, in particular, if children are sitting at desks, the being comfortable with the people that they're at, making sure that there's no karmas that would cause problems with them being either it's coming up like these social skills that they are learning. So what we're going to do right now, I did want to share the 3-card reading in general for school, and then we have a caller, and we will see what's up with her and work on that. So the first card, this is the authentic self triad card, and so this one is a very strong one. If the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind are in alignment, then that triad, if it's very strong, allows a child to have strong boundaries in school, or an adult actually, or at work, or at home even. So we're just going to strengthen it everywhere you go, actually. The authentic self triad is the body, soul, spirit in this state of homeostasis. And then this card here is my lack of awareness card. And the most dangerous thing about not being aware is the missed opportunities of that people misplace. And so we want to strengthen that recognition. See, what's coming up still for school children here right now, and that whole math thing, is many of the words that math language uses is like division, problems, and multiplication and addition. And so when people are overwhelmed, those words can have a tendency to cause a reaction, which is kind of like an emotional reaction to what's going on. So we want to strengthen for this authentic self triad to be strong to the state of awareness. And then the other card that came up was this. It's one of the karmic spaces. It's the need to be right. And so we have a little joke at our seminars here that if you have, if you know absolutely that you are the only one who is right and everybody else is wrong, use this card. So we're just going to strengthen. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about making strong choices. We're much more able to make strong choices when we're in a calm state. So it's going to strengthen that for everybody there. The need to be right, though, when you think about it, for school-age children and for people going to school, the need to be right is really important, because if you put your hand up and you have the wrong answer, it could be very embarrassing. So we're just going to clear any embarrassments, because when you think about it, they've surveyed adults on many surveys, and a lot of adults will say that they would rather die than speak in public. And so when you consider that children are being asked to stand up and speak in public during class on a regular basis, we want to strengthen them to letting go of any past experiences that were embarrassing is the word that's coming up. Embarrassing, disappointing. So we're just going to strengthen all of that. So I feel like that kind of is what I wanted to cover regarding getting everybody like in the mood for school. Sometimes it can be challenging to be in the mood, and there's lots of people that are very excited to be able to go. There's places in the world where people aren't even allowed to go to school. So we're just going to strengthen that for everybody being able to have an opportunity to learn and to enjoy doing it. And so, Carter, we have a caller who's been patiently waiting.
Yeah, we have Barb from Edmonton. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Colette. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
How are you?
Good.
Oh, a lot better. A lot better, thank you.
Okay. Barb had a private consultation with me last night, and we were working on, a lot of different things. How are you this morning?
A lot calmer, thank you. I had a good sleep.
Oh, you slept well. I was working on that because, and it's funny because I was writing something up about sleeping for next week's show. I want to share, because it's 911, I'm going to do a special show where I'm going to energetically shift the weaknesses around, emergencies, disasters, all of that, and how specific dates affect us. But what we want to know from you, Barb, where are you at now? What would you like to, what do you feel is what you would like to work on this morning?
This morning is attachment.
Attachment, okay. So think about attachment. Tell me about that.
Yesterday when we were talking about being attached and letting people go. So do we have to be detached from people to be neutral?
Okay, so this is an awesome question. And so attachment is the number one karmic space. And the reason for that is because once we get attached to someone or something, then we have a certain expectation of exactly how that person is supposed to act, how our life was supposed to turn out, all of these different things. So a lot of people will confuse compassion with empathy and empathy with compassion. And so true compassion is not when you lower your vibration to empathize with someone when you could benefit them. It is a matter of being strong to compassion, it being a vibration that you are insisting people rise up to. You are not doing, and so a lot of people will think, oh, well, if you get neutral to everything in life, doesn't that make you a cold person? No, it makes you able to make strong choices. And there's a very big difference between indifference and neutrality. And, we're going to have to take a short break here. So what I was thinking is what we'll do right now is just get a baseline from you. How are you feeling right now? Like when you think about how you thought your family was going to, how it all was going to turn out and how you pictured your parents' retirement, etc. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being hair on fire, press the panic button, 0 being, hey, I'm totally neutral to this. Where are you on that scale?
A 3.
A 3. That's really,
Yeah, it's really good. I just didn't, yesterday when we were talking, the one thing that I was, the attachment part was the one part that needed to totally be neutral to.
Yeah, if you want to hang on until we come back from the break, I'll show you which cards that came up. And
Okay.
we'll also, and we'll just check in with you and see if we can get you to a place where you're totally neutral, so that you can, because
Okay.
your situation with your Barb's mother was, was placed. She's a senior citizen and was placed in a, what would you call it?
It was a psychiatric geriatric ward.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to work on this a little bit when we come back. This is Colette Marie Stefan, and you are listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio, 1-800-930-2819. If you would like a 3-card consultation with the Dragons, call in. We'll be right back. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You are listening to The Truth is Funny. And if you're on Facebook, you are also viewing us live here. I'm just working with Barb and from Edmonton here. And we were talking about, she has a family situation where her mom was placed in geriatric psych ward care. We did what I did for your mom, and also you did, is relationship circles with everyone. Did you notice a change in your family and their acceptance, Barb?
Yes, I did. It was a big change.
Tell us about that. What happened? Like, because when there's a lot of tension because everybody's upset in a family, a lot of the behaviors from the subconscious mind when you were siblings, those will come up. So what did you notice?
Everyone was working towards a goal without having different views. It seemed it all came together.
So that's good. So we were strengthening purposeful communication. And so the cards that I picked for you, the first one I got is this one. That's the attachment card. And so
funny.
Yeah. And that card came up for a lot of people today. This could be the card. This is the mother of all cards.
Yeah.
And I was in ayahuasca ceremony in Peru, and I had a spider show up, and a real live spider, and then it was dark, and then it was her. I knew it was on me. She was sitting on my chest, and she told me, people get so attached to the webs they weave, and spiders don't get so attached. Like if someone comes along and sweeps a web away, they just create another one that's even more beautiful. So we're just going to strengthen this. The other thing was these 2 cards came up for you. These are the twins from Italy. All my dragons babies have angels with them, because they are very busy dragons, and they can get into trouble. So these are anticipation. That's the light blue one. And then the dark one here is expectation. So we want to strengthen you and your mom and everyone in the situation to let go of all expectations of how things were supposed to be. And in particular, what's coming up is your father has a lot of expectations of how things are supposed to be. And so we want to strengthen him to, what age is he?
86.
Yeah. Can you blame him? And he's also going into his 3rd Saturn return, right? So I just was strengthening him after, when you were having your consultation with me, I was strengthening him to let go of all expectations of how things are supposed, not just how things are supposed to be, but what he is supposed to do. And a lot of men his age were taught that, a man acts this way and it's got to be like this, and this is the way it is. And so your dad's not really like that, but he is kind of. Does that make sense to you? He's open-minded, but he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're just going to strengthen him to everything that's going on. And there's a lot of, and this card came up, harmony. This is the throat chakra. And as soon as I mention it, I just get that he does not have the words to express the depth of his anger with the system, and also with just the general situation. So we're going to strengthen more harmony. We have more harmony in your home now, in your family. I love this dragon. She's really, really, has beautiful energy. And so when people are allowed to express what's going on for themselves and they feel like they've been heard, then they are generally more able to, and this is coming up for him. We're just going to strengthen all of you, him and in particular. And because your mom is actually stronger than him now. How is mom doing?
I haven't, right now she's doing a lot better than she first went in the hospital, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe how well she's doing.
Yeah, a lot of people. And then you managed to get her into the best place we could find for her, right?
Right. It was the first choice, and she got in within a couple days. And they say it never happened. It's like hitting a lottery.
Let's strengthen that for everybody.
Time to buy a ticket.
More lottery winnings. If you can win this lottery,
her fast, that's for sure.
So I just wanted to mention that when we're live on Facebook, sometimes there's a lapse between when the cards can be shown. But if you view this later, you'll be able to see these cards because you haven't seen them, but you're familiar with them anyway. You're coming up to my stage 3 seminar.
Yes, I am.
And I'm excited about it. I've got quite a few. I've got some new Dragon Sayers coming up. I have an event on the 20th. Shift Happens free live talk. I've been doing these hundreds of these for years. It's my way of making sure that people can, everybody gets a chance to experience what it's like to be able to have that instant relief. So what we do is it's a 2-hour from 7 to 9. It's at the Canada Hotel on Harvey on the 20th. And then again, I will be doing it on the 27th. The Friday night before my seminars, I always do a talk like that because I'm also doing, my goal is to empower all my Dragon Sayers to be able to be strong to speaking in public. And also the more experience you get putting this into practice, you don't need to practice it. You already got it. It's about putting the skills that are God-given skills, if you want to say, into practice, using our intuition and our perception together so that we can have strong insight regarding any situation. And so for your mom, what part of the energetic shifting was, I was strengthening everybody. And I do this with children who are autistic or, special needs, etc., is just strengthening everybody that is involved in this person's life. It's about, doing relationship circles and strengthening her to the doctors, to the system, to the janitors there, to the other patients there, to, like as we did, the family members, to her actual physical environment. So we're going to strengthen that for her. When you think about your mom now and your dad and the possibilities here, what number are you at?
I'm neutral.
No way! It's a miracle.
No. I see the light.
See, and a lot of people will laugh when when they're clearing energy, and sometimes people will cry because they're letting go of a sentimental sadness of a part of themselves, of who they thought they were going to be and who they are. But for your mom right now, can you feel that coming in right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your mom, is in communication with when it's coming up, she's in communication in a different way, and she's very connected to the spiritual side at this time. So we're just going to strengthen all that love that comes from source energy, and we're going to send her a big whoosh of mwah. And thank you so much for calling in. We have to take a short break. We have another caller. So we'll be right back after this short break. 1-800-930-2819. Thank you for calling in, Barb. I'm glad your mom is feeling, is having a better situation as best we can energetically shift. And we will continue to energetically shift this situation and see what other improvements we can make. We'll be right back. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You are listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We are doing 3-card consultations with the dragons today. And before we move on to, we have another caller here, but before we move on to that, I just want to mention, I'm really happy to say that I have added another 7 conferences to the Be Irresistible telespas. And so you can check that out at www.thetruthisfunny.com. Just go to events and you'll see the telespas there. So I have the Fountain of Youth night. I do these once, the second Thursday of every month. I do these teleconferences, and we energetically work on shifting our shift and looking good doing it. So we have the Fountain of Youth, nice assets, facial reengineering, posture perfect. I can see clearly now, the strain is gone, waste away, turn those frowns upside down, celebrate life, dangerous curves ahead, glowing skin and glossy locks speak volumes, and we also have Perk Up. So I just wanted to share that because I've been promising I would add some more teleconferences. If you can buy these individually, you can hop on anytime and buy the membership. And then that's good for a year, and you get 2 free teleconferences. So Carter, we have a caller here. I just want to take this call and see what we can do here.
Yeah, we have the Okanagan Shift Storm here. Welcome to the show.
Are you back from New York here?
I'm live from over here.
Yes, there we go. So, what can we do for you today?
Well, number one, thank you so much. The seminars, your work is so inspiring and beneficial. I'm in. Family, school, work, home, they become families. We spend so much time with our work family, our school family, our home family. Recently, a longtime resident at the apartment block where I live, 18 resident, has passed over. He was not a well-liked person, but he lived here for over 20 years. And this just happened at the end of the month, and it's really shaken. So I've just noticed all this shaking going on many levels, and personally I have my own things going on, but I'm kind of reverberating.
This is beautiful. On a scale of 0 to 10, where are you at?
I'd say a 5.5, 6.
Yeah, when I say it's beautiful, I mean because this man, even when we have people who are challenging around us, or we're in challenging situations, even if someone like that's been like kind of not that friendly, or someone that you really enjoyed, just the change. So this is coming up. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of change happening in your life right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting it's actually full of opportunity. So we want to strengthen that for you. What the cards that came up for you were the energetic upgrade. This is the core strength. This is the little dragonfly that it speaks of shifting and how to and moving that energy. So it's about identifying what the weakness is, and then going to, if you think of yourself as a computer, deleting it off the hard drive, which is your central nervous system. The other card that came up is this one, purpose. And so what's coming up is, what was that man's purpose at the building? When you get in touch with that right now, what do you feel was the reason why he was maybe challenging to be around?
He had I think fundamentally a really good heart, but he was really wounded.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting. So we want to strengthen this for you. It's coming up. Just, even if you have someone there and he's your best gardener, because you have to, anytime we are communicating with another human being, if we're, in the same space with them, not just human beings, with animals, etc., they are reflecting back to us who we are, and how we feel about certain things. So when another person really bugs you, you've probably been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. And it wasn't necessarily in this lifetime. So we're just going to clear all the sadness about someone leaving. And what's coming up for him is that he wasn't necessarily shown enough affection as a child. So we're just going to strengthen that he can find all the affection in the world now. When you get in touch with that, because in many ways, the people that challenge us the most are the most beneficial for us. And so we just strengthen the whole situation around it. When you think about him now and you think about him moving on, is someone moving into that space?
No, it's kind of sitting empty now. I think it was just so filthy and dense, and even as I'm sharing this with you, my head is so hot. Like I just feel my head is completely full of heat.
So we're going to push the energy down and up. There we go. Sneezing is a way of energetically shifting, and coughing. So there's a lot of it's just about the sadness of people. And again, very similar to the previous caller's situation of a life that ended kind of sad. You know what I mean? And so we're just going to strengthen what's sad, what's not, when we look at this from the perspective of the body, soul, and spirit, perhaps in the last lifetime, this man was well loved, well liked all his lifetimes, and he just needed to have one like this so that he could have that experience also. If you don't label the experience, then you, as good or bad, then it allows you to recognize this is just an experience and let it go. When you get in touch with your number now, where are you at?
Probably about a 2.
Mm-hmm. So this is about perception. And what happens is when someone passes on, moves on, it brings up a lot of issues about transition, about birth and death. And so we're going to strengthen you to all of that. And also, the other card that came up is this karmic space of anger. And so what's coming up is that, see, when a child is in the womb and the mother is angry or feeling unsafe, because it's coming up for him that the anger that he had was built up from in the womb. And so we're just going to clear that. So when you get in touch with it now, where are you at?
I'm still, one thing I wanted to share with you.
Mm-hmm.
He had definitely the other women that live in this residence. I had no idea how unappreciated and how passionately they don't like this man, and how he offended so many of them. And it was really interesting how this person lived their life this way and was so unloved and unappreciated. And then other people are so appreciated and loved and recognized.
And, but if you think about it from the perspective that I said, that, this isn't the only time, then, hey, Carter, how much time do we have left?
We have about 2 minutes.
Okay. So we're just going to strengthen that for everybody out there. When I get working like this, I can lose time. Okay. I just wanted to share a funny little story with everybody before I go off today. About a year and a half ago, I started noticing that certain cedar, like some of my cedars and some other plants in this one area of the yard, they were dying, and I couldn't figure out why. So then I found out, because I have a black walnut tree in my yard, and that black walnut tree, it'll put toxins out that kills other plants. And so there's only a few that will live around it. So once I realized, hey, this tree, I sat down with her and when I prune her or sit under her, I was going to paint a big heart on her. And I was strengthening this tree to spread love instead of fear. And so funny, yesterday I'm walking underneath onto my fish deck, and a squirrel drops a nut out of the top of the tree. Take a look at the nut. It has a beautiful little heart in it, and it looks like somebody who's laughing. And so I just thought what a beautiful gift that was. It happened at exactly 12:21. So putting that fun kind of energy out there. Thank you for calling in. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Rome. And then we also, Carter, thank you for producing the show. Thank you for everybody, of course, that's listening now and later. I know you're all very busy out there getting those kids off to school and readjusting. Have fun with it. Enjoy, the beauty of the experience. And we'll be back next Wednesday, 8:00 a.m. live on, or not live on Facebook, but I will be coming back with a 9/11 special show, just because there's so many energetic weaknesses around that date. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
You've been listening to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan. Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The Truth is Funny. Visit thetruthisfunny.com for more information. That's thetruthisfunny.com.